Sunday, January 15th. You're listening to Weather with Enthusiasm. Well, extreme heat continues over parts of South Africa, other parts of Africa, and the western portions of Australia. Temperatures are about 110 degrees for afternoon highs in some of the counties in South Africa, other areas in Africa, and Australia. These temperatures are 10 degrees above normal in the countries of Australia and South Africa. I don't know about the places further north in Africa. And this is just the beginning of many, many days of very hot weather. In fact, we're actually going to see hotter weather towards the end of next week. Temperatures a little bit cooler for the rest of this week and the beginning parts of next week. There's going to be days next week where we're talking about 50-degree temperature differences between night and day. Temperatures in the morning near 50 degrees for some of these cities with daytime highs near 100. Overnight lows upper 50s, daytime highs near 110 degrees. We'll get the names of the cities later on in the podcast, perhaps. Moving right along here into the United States, we continue to deal with a situation where the polar vortex remains locked up towards the North Pole. However, nonetheless, a storm system will be producing significant amounts of snow here in the Midwest. The midweek this week, a Colorado low is going to be moving east-northeast, developing significant precipitation, frozen precipitation. Omaha, Nebraska is possibly one of the cities that could get hit. Right now, it looks like probably about 2 to 6 inches of snow, but here's the thing. You deal with a panhandle hook. This is not a panhandle hook right now. Panhandle hook in the Midwest typically produces 6 to 12 inches. Some of these Colorado lows also can produce that amount. In fact, recently we've been seeing some very magnificent snowfall, especially when they tend to hit the Dakotas, these slow-moving Colorado lows. Right now, there's question as to how much moisture is going to be available. Omaha, Nebraska National Weather Service tells us probably 1/4 of an inch or so. So when you're dealing with something like that, you would be looking at 2 to 4 inches. The only thing is, however, is that the European computer model at times shows a very significant snowfall possibly taking place, much higher than that. So we're not going to mention the totals right now. We'll keep it probably at 2 to 6 inches. That's what climatology would support. The real Arctic air, especially here where the real Arctic air remains totally locked up. One of the big questions over here is in regards to how much moisture will there be from the Gulf of Mexico. Another question is in regards to dry slots that could develop within the storm system. The thing is that on the southeast portion of the midweek storm system, thunderstorms are expected to develop. When thunderstorms develop, it eats into the moisture for the snow that's on the backside. So it's dependent upon thunderstorms. Whenever you have anything dependent upon thunderstorms, and a certain part of the forecast becomes unforecastable because thunderstorms are not 100% forecastable, and that's really where that's one of the difficulties. Another difficulty is the fact that the storm track is not well established right now. So significant snow nonetheless is forecasted for a good portion of the Midwest, including perhaps northwest Missouri. If the storm takes a further southern track, places of Missouri could get hit. A more northern track, places of Nebraska could get hit. Green Bay, Wisconsin looks to be on the northern edge of the system. We have, this storm system then moves off to the east later in the week. A more minor system affects the Midwest over the weekend. Now we have to take a look at what's going to be going on over the next couple of weeks, because if the polar vortex remains strong, if the polar jet is actually underneath about 5 to 9 miles underneath where the vortex is, The question is there any stratosphere warming? And if there is that going to lead to a displacement of the polar vortex? Anybody who wants big storms better hope so. This January, we've really lucked out for most people who like mild weather. And ever since that extreme Arctic outbreak in the end of December happened, we've had a very difficult time. Actually, the Arctic air has not been able to make it down here. Nonetheless, we're dealing with the month of January. So in the month of January, it's cold enough. You get a strong storm system, it could suck down plenty of cold air for the midweek. Here's the thing about the midweek storm. It is a Colorado low. The Green Bay National Weather Service informs us of that. However, the Des Moines, Iowa National Weather Service expresses well that this is more complex than just the traditional Colorado low. In fact, it sounds very similar in a certain way to what happened back in the around December 18th or so, even before December 14th perhaps, all the way back then when we had a low pressure system. The main system, it started off as there was a main system, but then a secondary area of low pressure developed in the Midwest. You don't usually hear about that. Usually you hear about the secondary area of low pressure developing on the East Coast, but that's what's expected to happen with this system as well. And then the question becomes, what's going to go on with that system? The second area of low pressure, a secondary low pressure that develops to the southeast of the main low pressure. And once again, just like a month ago, this secondary area of low pressure is going to eventually become the primary area of low pressure with the storm. So a Colorado low to start. What you call it after that becomes difficult. It becomes difficult, and then to know exactly what's going to happen becomes difficult as well. A lot of this is dependent upon the amounts of Gulf moisture that are available that's not known at this time, and anything could happen at this point. At this point, Chicago looks like it's going to be further south of the significant snow. Green Bay looks to be, again, on the very northern fringe. Milwaukee looks like it's at a good location to receive significant snow, which at this time, if we had to call it for something, 2 to 4 inches doesn't sound like that much. It doesn't sound like much, but you have to realize, for those weather enthusiasts, 2 to 4 inches with a storm that is tapping into Gulf moisture is a much more exciting storm than 2 to 4 inches coming out of an Alberta clipper, which has no potential at all for the most part. So this system is worth monitoring for weather enthusiasts because it is tapping into Gulf moisture. Furthermore, the fact that there's a secondary area of low pressure that's eventually going to become the primary low pressure system could complicate things at the end and could really change the whole synoptic system. Things could really change after that. Other than that, we're looking at above normal temperatures to much above normal temperatures. We do have chances for snow, possibly heavy snow at times over the next week or so for portions of New England. Towards the end of the 2-week period, week number 3, probably the beginning of February, there is expected to be a breakdown of the polar vortex in response to a warming of the stratosphere. These types of long-range forecasts are not always accurate, and a lot of times, however, if you take the following into consideration, there is accuracy to it. And just realize that a lot of times the forecast models are weeks quicker than what actually is going to be happening. So originally, I found out today that the breakdown was expected to happen in mid-January. It was pushed off to end of January. It's really pushed off to the end of January with the realization that the models are running quicker than normal. So the forecasts are probably already in the beginning of February at this point. It doesn't always happen, but it does happen 70% of the time. 70% of the time when it's called an SSW, a sudden stratosphere warming, you could expect a displacement of the polar vortex that could be associated with the storms. But a third of the time, such as in the year December 2019, it does not lead to a displacement, and temperatures remain near normal or even above normal for the rest of the winter. Following is a winter storm watch in effect from the Omaha, Nebraska National Weather Service. This was issued Central Standard Time, Monday, January 16th, 2023, 2:29 a.m. Winter storm watch in effect from Wednesday morning through late Wednesday night. Heavy snow possible. Total snow accumulations greater than 4 inches possible. This is for portions of southwest and west central Iowa, east central, northeast, and southeast Nebraska. This is from Wednesday morning through late Wednesday night. Plan on slippery road conditions. The hazardous conditions could impact travel, including the evening commute on Wednesday and the morning commute on Thursday. Area forecast discussion issued 11:33 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday, January 16, 2023. The previous from 2:39 a.m. Key messages: a light wintry mix continues this morning in northeast Nebraska with sprinkles or light rain farther south. A potent winter storm will likely bring heavy snow to portions of eastern Nebraska and western Iowa on Wednesday into early Thursday. A winter storm watch is now in effect for a swath through the central portion of eastern Nebraska into west central Iowa from 6 a.m. Wednesday to 6 a.m. Thursday. Moving ahead to the Wednesday into Thursday morning time period, our attention turns next to the storm midweek this week. Models are finally coming into fairly good agreement on a general track of the low through central or northwest Missouri. This, though, continues a trend to shift the heavy snow axis slightly more north each run. Feeling more confident enough though, as the ensemble members are becoming more clustered with the track, which should keep significant shifts from occurring. We're still trying to nail down the location of the heaviest snow band, but we can more confidently say that there will be a wide swath of greater than 4 inches of snow, including much of the area along and just north of Interstate 80. One caveat: will need to watch the warm air advection closely, as it may lead to a changeover to freezing rain or sleet along the freezing line and all rain across southeast Nebraska. This could significantly cut into snow totals, leading to a steep gradient in amounts and the potential for icy conditions for some. Our national blend of models puts just south of Omaha and Lincoln. The national blend of models puts that just south of Omaha and Lincoln. But if this shifts any farther north, this could lead to a drop in forecast amounts for these locations. Another concern is the potential for a band of freezing rain right along or just north of the freezing line. This could happen Wednesday afternoon, which could lead to icy conditions. Models suggest this could occur, but lack in confidence in its location or duration at this time, and that led to keeping it out of the forecast for now. Temperatures will start to fall across southeast Nebraska Wednesday evening, leading to an eventual changeover to snow. Snowfall amounts will directly correlate to how early or late these areas change over to snow. Precipitation will start exiting southeast Nebraska after midnight and should be out of the area by 6 a.m. Thursday morning. This, of course, leans heavily on the current ensemble and model solutions, which suggest this timing. These systems do have a tendency to slow down as they approach, which could lead to a later start and end time. This could lead to a slight increase in snowfall amounts with the current track due to more time with precipitation after sunset. In general, the discussion is not made with too much confidence in regards to the snowfall amounts due to the potential for additional adjustments in the track and a fairly wide range in totals by different model solutions. What the National Weather Service does say is that the national blend of models shows a wide swath of greater than 60% chance of 4 inches or more of snow. Some areas greater than 70% chance. We'll hopefully get a better handle on exact amounts by tomorrow. Hottest temperatures for today in South Africa. In the last 12 hours, hottest temperature was 110 degrees in Piketberg. Uppington, South Africa, reported 108 degrees. DR, South Africa, 105 degrees. Barkley West, 101. And Ritchie, 101. In the continent Africa, there have been several cities that hit 110 degrees today. This includes the city of the Karas region in Namur, South Sudan, Piketberg, South Africa, and one more. So we have again, it's Keetsmanshoop, Keetmanshoop, 110 degrees. That's in the Karas region, the Karas region. Nimule, Nimule, which is in South Sudan, Sudan, which was 110 degrees. Piketberg, South Africa, 110 degrees. And Pakwach, Pakwach, also 110 degrees. Griffith, Australia is one of the hottest cities in Australia. Actually, not sure about that. The city Yannari, Australia, Yannari, forecast high for Monday, 107 degrees. Tuesday, 110 degrees. Wednesday, 113 degrees. And Thursday, 107 degrees. That's the European computer model. But what makes this absolutely spectacular is the high dew points in the city. Dew points in the low 70s for the city. Yannari, Australia, excuse me, 84 degrees at 2 in the morning with a dew point of 70 degrees. 5 a.m. temperature 82, 6 a.m. temperature 81 degrees, dew point 69 degrees. Afternoon high going up to 107. At the time the temperature hits 107, the dew point drops to 59 degrees. Dew points start to go back up, but dew points remaining in the low 60s throughout Tuesday night. High temperature Wednesday, 110 degrees. Dew point drops to 51 degrees. That's actually the high for Tuesday. Tuesday night, low temperature, 79 degrees. Dew point 59 degrees. High temperature Wednesday, as the dew points drop, temperature hits 113 degrees with almost no wind at all. Temperatures drop Wednesday night down to about 83 degrees. Temperatures going back up to about 107 degrees with a dew point of 59 degrees. What we have going on over here is basically there's a certain amount of energy that's taking place in the city Yannari, Australia, and either that energy is expressed through dew point or temperature, and when the dew points go up, the temperatures go down, and when the dew points go down, the temperatures go up. The heat wave continues well beyond this week, however. As we mentioned, high temperatures hit 106 over Shabbos. We'll see the high temperatures near 101 next week, on 106 for Wednesday, 101 Tuesday. Monday's high only in the low 90s. Sunday, low 90s, and Monday, highs in the upper 80s. That's probably a lot closer to normal than what we're seeing right now. The following is in regards to the unseasonably warm air that is expected to overtake the Midwest this Monday, January 17th. This Monday, January 16th, tomorrow afternoon. Little Rock, Arkansas, high temperature near 70 degrees, European computer model. Shreveport, Louisiana, 73 degrees. Fort Smith, Arkansas, highs near 70 degrees. Highs in Dallas, Texas, mid-70s. Temperatures going into the mid-80s over parts of South Texas. St. Louis, Missouri, highs around 60 degrees. Columbia, Missouri, highs in the low 60s. Iowa City, highs in the upper 50s.
Air becomes much cooler as you head into northern Illinois. Highs in the low to mid 40s for Chicago area. There also is a chance for thunderstorms across, especially the southern Midwest areas southward Monday afternoon. Could be some severe weather in some locations, but chances are lower than usual. Following is the European computer model in regards to snow totals in the midweek system. Temperatures dropping into the upper 20s Tuesday night under partly cloudy skies. Skies becoming cloudy by 11 p.m. Temperatures remaining in the upper 20s throughout the night. Snow overspreads the area by 7 a.m. Sometime after 6 a.m. towards 7 a.m. Snowfall accumulation by 7 a.m. 2/10 of an inch, temperature 29 degrees. Snow may be on and off in the morning, but the snow becomes more steady towards 9 a.m. Snowfall accumulation by 9 a.m. 3/10 of an inch, 10 a.m. 4/10 of an inch, 11 a.m. 6/10 of an inch, by noon 8/10 of an inch, by 1 p.m. 9/10 of an inch, by 2 p.m. 1.3 inches, by 3 p.m. 1.9 inches. 4 p.m., this is when it really picks up, is Wednesday afternoon. We go to 4 inches of snow. 5 p.m., 6 inches of snow. European computer model has snowfall rates of 2 inches an hour for Omaha, Nebraska. Wednesday afternoon, between the hours of 3 to 5 or so, maybe a little bit later than that. Snowfall totals approximately 7 inches of snow for Omaha, Nebraska, with an additional half an inch for Thursday, early Thursday morning. Those are the snow totals for Omaha, Nebraska. If we go a little bit further south, in the city called Todd, Todd, well, snow totals look to be high, a little bit higher in Omaha, Nebraska.
You have been listening to the podcast Weather with Enthusiasm. You will now hear a 1-minute trailer.
Several additional feet of snow is expected by Monday morning.
Yes! We have a powerhouse typhoon which has developed off in the Pacific Ocean.
A big shockaroo to many of you. This is especially true in regards to what's going to be going on in Alaska. We have parts of the world that are so hot right now. Temperatures are expected to go into the low 130s. Here we have a special guest on our show. What is your name?
Stratosphere.
A heat wave that's going to be headed to the A Lot area. We're going to have to wait before we get into the next excitement. We're going from one extreme to the next extreme. 27.1 barometric pressure. Feet of snow are falling in Japan.
Oh my gosh.
Weather. That's a time of celebration.
Just Google Weather with Enthusiasm and they're all going to come up.